Let's do the survey.
The survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one.
It is a good one indeed. Yep, and feel free to just take your time. While you do that, I think I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Go ahead.
And yeah, because it does take a minute to have that done. And I'll be right back.
Cool.
Sick. Awesome. Thank you so very
Yeah,
much.
of course.
All right. So what did you think overall?
It's definitely interesting
Mm-hmm.
across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Beliefs and truth are just interesting topics in general in my mind.
Yeah, some...
Because, someone's belief isn't always true.
Right, that's
Which
24.
is, I was going to say, I mean, just baseline for me, it just...
Yeah.
And I really firmly believe in evidence-based information
Mm.
in many cases.
Oh, yeah? That's 13.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's hard when there are topics that are not evidence-based and people still deny the truth.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I notice here on 13 that you marked slightly disagree rather than strongly.
Which one was that one?
So believing something without evidence is admirable.
Yeah, I mean, I do admire the naivety that comes from someone who's like, this is my belief and I'm going to stand strong in it. There is
Like
a
a
little
soldier.
something that's admirable about that belief, but
Fighting for what you believe in.
yeah, I mean, I think that's important for people to a certain degree, fight for what they believe in, but at the same time, if it's not rooted in evidence-based truth, at a certain point, I'm like, well, it's admirable, but it stops there.
What would need to change for you to mark strongly agree rather than slightly?
For that specific topic.
Believing something without evidence is admirable.
Oof. Gosh, I don't even know. How does one change it to strongly agree? I mean, I just don't think there is a scenario I can think of where not having evidence to back up my belief
Mm.
fully and wholeheartedly. I mean, again, it's admirable to stand and die on that hill, but yeah.
Mm. So then why did you mark the way you marked?
Well, because again, I mean, I think everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and that's just the beauty of us as a society. But yeah,
Acceptance.
yeah, the acceptance piece.
Acceptance of false ideas. Acceptance of other people's false ideas?
No, I
Or-
mean, I want. Sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. Ask
No,
it one more time.
I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
Why this one? Why slightly rather than strongly? And I'm hearing, and I might be mishearing.
Yeah.
The goal is to understand correctly.
Yeah.
That it's like that you have like you're appealing to acceptance and tolerance of
Sure.
people who might be believing without evidence.
Yeah. So as an example, just because we talked about religion, I grew up in the South
Mm-hmm.
and very deeply rooted in religion. I do find it admirable that people will die on that hill having that they've never met Jesus,
Right.
but they believe firmly that Jesus is a white male
Right.
that
Yeah.
descended
Mhm.
from the Middle East, which is just gives me a big question mark in the first place.
Mm.
To me, there is like a certain level of admiration of this fellowship that they have together in this unity of this idea.
Mm.
But there is no evidence to back up that this man ever existed as a white male. And it's just somebody's interpretation, right? So I think there's, for me, that's kind of why it's like, okay, it's cool that they have this fellowship and I admire that they can participate in this fact. However, I'm never going to buy in
Mm.
for my own self.
Yeah.
So I find it cool that they can do that, but also I'm just never going to buy into it at the end of the day
Right.
because it's not an evidence-based fact in my mind.
So we just lightly touched on just one of them.
Yeah,
Lightly.
I know.
And I could keep going.
I know.
Just this
Just that
one.
one, I know. That's why I said these questions are great.
But
Because you could go down rabbit holes for every single one.
and because you just got here, I like to just be like, okay,
Yeah.
do you want to do more? Want me to ask more questions on this one? Is there one that stood out to you most on here that you think you would want to have me ask questions about? And you can also ask me any questions at any time, by the way.
Yeah, I think the ones that were definitely the ones that kind of stood out for me were all in this when should we believe section.
When
When
we should believe.
all of them
Those
were
are all
like,
methods, really.
yeah, like without an explanation, any answer is better than no answer. I feel like people do this a lot. They just
The
answer
standard.
for the sake of an answer,
Right. Yeah.
even though the answer is likely incorrect.
Sometimes there's a need that we have where
Right.
where we have motivations to conclude and in a timely, appropriate manner. And
Right.
sometimes the times like demand that we like
Yeah.
jump onto something. So
Yeah,
yeah, that one's tough. What did you answer for that one?
I disagree.
You disagree? Yeah.
And then even the one after it with the it's okay to accept something because it is comforting. I'm neutral
Yeah,
on
and you're
this.
neutral on that one.
And I strongly believe for that one, I'm neutral simply in the fact that I feel like somebody's belief system is often rooted deeply in their mental health. And
Yeah.
so if it gives them comfort in their mental health to believe this idea,
Yeah.
albeit maybe it is just far-fetched and completely wrong. But if it's not hurting
Yeah.
anyone else,
Man.
you know, and it's not causing harm, I'm inclined to give someone a pass on this belief if it brings them comfort. But at the same time, I feel like there should be someone in their sphere to help
Poke and prod and
just
Yeah.
ask questions because
little
yeah,
challenge here and there.
yeah. I think allowing people to live in their naivety is maybe not the best idea for a healthy
How'd you answer
mind.
19? I often investigate beliefs that do not match my own.
I do.
Yeah?
I like to because I'm curious. I think I'm curious by nature, so you know,
And we have you down as slightly agree. Is there a reason why not strong agree?
I mean, it's not every case because quite frankly, I just don't find it necessary for me to go down a million different rabbit holes for my own mental health of just, you know, somebody's complex idea that I
There's
may
only
or
so
may
many
not
hours
agree.
in the day.
Exactly. And do I want to always spend it challenging my thoughts and ideas? Probably not. But as an example, when way back when Donald Trump was first running for president, I was living in the Midwest in Indiana, of all places, home of Mike Pence. Woo hoo hoo. Hated that man. Many bad policies while I was living there.
Yeah.
But of course, being a very red state, there were many, many people that were gung-ho about voting for him. And I was super curious, like, why though? And the consistent response was that he was such a good businessman. And I felt this to be a very odd response because I'm like, at least in my understanding, many of his companies have gone bankrupt and he's like skirted the tax system, and I don't know if I qualify that as a good businessman make these behaviors. Again, my own opinion, right? So I did some due diligence and went down this little rabbit hole, which was a very dark rabbit hole, let's be honest, that this person could very well lead our country, which ultimately he ended up doing. But I could never get this like straight answer as to why somebody wanted to like vote, put their vote behind this man. And yeah, I mean, it's a hard one.
Hard ones. Hard ones. Let's see. Where do you want to go from here? I can pick a different one.
Pick a different one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do number 1. A statement is true when it corresponds to reality. How do you forget how you did answer? How would you answer that? What makes a statement true?
I mean, I think it's not to stay in our Donald Trump theme here, uh,
I mean, yeah, politics and religion, man.
but
Those
hey,
are good
politics and
examples to talk
religion. I
about, right?
mean,
That's a big reason why we're out here.
to me, the statements that I have heard him actually make, like watched with my eyeballs on camera, where he has made a statement, and then to have someone come right behind it, be it a news anchor, or, another viewer, and they're like, "Oh, he didn't mean that." It's like, but he made the statement.
Right. Yeah.
So to me, that
That's
is the truth. The statement was made. The interpretation is different, and that is language. That's just a difference of words in my mind, or interpretation, right? So,
right. And
but
there's a
the
way to
statement is
more
still true.
accurately interpret or misinterpret.
Sure.
Right. Um, what, in what way could we rewrite number one in such a way as we would strongly agree to it? If we could just rewrite number one to be whatever we wanted, and it was about a statement is true when blank,
Hmm.
and take as much time as you want to think about it.
I think for me, a statement is true, again, when it has corresponding evidence.
Evidence, so justification.
Justification, yeah, that it's backed by something. Like the grass is green. I am looking at it and it is green. It is
Okay.
backed by my visual acuity.
Right. Are there truths yet to be known?
Oh yeah, certainly.
Do those have justifications?
Mm, like in real time, you mean?
Yet?
Yet?
Yeah.
Sure, I'm sure they're always ever
Mm.
evolving. I feel like truths are always ever evolving.
But yeah, our way of articulating what's true.
Correct.
Yeah, I hear that.
Just if I think about it from a science-based mindset,
Mm.
I may know a little bit of something and have a truth that's associated to that little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to know 10 of that same kind of something, but they're all a little bit different, my truth is probably going to take on a new life.
Your truth or your understanding of the truth, or
Sure.
are they the same thing, or
No, they're definitely different things. Because
they're different things? Okay.
I feel like people's understanding of truth is always going to be the great thing that's kind of always in flux.
Right, in flux. We were talking about fallibilism earlier.
Yeah. Because, I may interpret something completely different than Anthony.
Interpret it differently, yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
But that doesn't mean that the truth is necessarily
ah,
different.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to interpretation, right?
We often, in a lot of interviews, ask about truth in terms of how we are thinking about the number of candies in a box.
Mm.
And we'll ask if I believe that they're odd, and see David over here says that they're even.
Yeah.
Is one of us wrong or mistaken?
No.
No. Is there more than one number of candies in this box, or is there one number of candies?
Total.
Total number.
Oh, total number. There's more than one.
There's more than one number.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or excuse me, no, the total number is one number.
right. So
But
there's one number
yes.
that is accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so if he believes that the number is odd and I believe that they're even, is one of us mistaken?
Sure. Has to be.
Okay.
Because it's
has to
either
be.
even
Yeah.
or odd. It's
Yeah.
going to be one of the two.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't be both.
Yeah, can't be both.
Can't be both in this circumstance. Yeah.
In this circumstance. And I can imagine maybe some in which, like what you were saying, because I think what you were talking about was like nuance and things,
Mhm.
and some things that can be interpreted in two ways because of like their own individual angle on a thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm understanding what you were saying there.
Mhm.
I have one more to talk about, and then I can turn it to you. You can ask me anything, and then
Cool.
Then we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Number. Oh man, there's so many I could talk
I
about.
know.
But
There's so many good questions on there.
Let's talk about 18.
Okay.
The most, because this was the hard one, the hard section.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll talk about those. The most important criteria for my beliefs is that they match reality. So how are you thinking of what the word reality means in this statement? The most important criteria for my beliefs is that they match reality.
So my reality to me is just what is, again, in my sphere of just my day-to-day. Because my reality is going to be different than somebody else's.
Was there a reality before you were here?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Okay. The most important criteria for my beliefs is that they match reality.
Yeah, I mean, I want my beliefs to be rooted in what we know today. From today back as far as we can take it in history and science. Do I know all of that? Heck no. I wish I did. I wish my brain had the capacity to be able to store.
That'd be nice. At least
nice.
At least to just not get things wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
I also agree to 24, so.
Yeah. But I would hope my beliefs match, where we're at today.
You hope.
I hope.
Yeah. I think that's what 18's about.
Yeah.
Do you hope that your beliefs are more accurate than not accurate?
Yeah, certainly.
By and large.
I hope so. Yes.
How would you mark 18 then? Is the true, whatever happens to be true, the most important thing for your belief systems?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, again, in a perfect world, I would love that my beliefs are true and relevant to this reality. But I think there are some that don't live in that truth. They believe that maybe where there are aliens walking among us, or that science isn't real, or the earth is flat, or there are all sorts of
That blew my mind if science wasn't real.
Yeah,
how is it working then?
Exactly.
What's going on?
But I do hope that, with that, at least for my own self, with having a rooted, or what I believe to be as best as I can do, right, from a rooted background of science, that most of my beliefs are at least somewhat aligned with truth. And if they're not, that's the piece that I really love, and I think that was in that final section of learning
when we should change
and figuring out when we should change, because I want someone to challenge my beliefs in a constructive way, but not with false information, if that makes sense, because that's not helping anyone.
Yeah, false
narratives
potentially lead to conflict if
they're brutal.
If I have a different false thing than you have.
I mean, that's what we're living in today, in my opinion.
And now you know why we're here.
Yeah. This is where we're at right now.
So yeah, this is just a process. This is like one angle of one small sliver aspect of the reason why we've been creating content for YouTube and places for people to see, to kind of observe a better way to help, like, in a friendly way, challenge one another with like respectful questions about abstract concepts, big ideas, ways of thinking about our thinking. I
wish we had more of those conversations, but I feel like they are few and far between.
Yes, they
especially
can be.
Now.
And we don't all agree on how to do it, how to best do it. And that's
okay.
Why I think it's awesome that you were brave enough to sit in the chair and be challenged by me. And I do respect that highly. Is there any question that you have of me? And I'm a wide open book about absolutely anything that you want.
In your experience, since you guys have been out here doing these interviews, I have been skeptical. And again, this is just, it's not
with random strangers with cameras. You've been skeptical of that?
Not skeptical of actually, this is probably one of the more normal things I've seen in Portland in quite some time.
Right.
But in just sitting down and talking about people's belief systems, I am so curious. Portland is a really great city, I feel like, to actually find people that toe the line on both sides of the coin of just believing what's true and then also maybe believing what's not true in many ways. I feel like we are at a pivotal tipping point in our society as it relates to truth, especially as of late.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But I'm curious what y'all's experience has been sitting down with others.
Usually it's this, for me, it's always a pretty powerful experience. Right now we have the three of us so we can swap out, but I've had days where I just sat and talked to people for like 4 to 6 hours, sometimes more. I should never go past 6. My brain turns into mush.
Yeah.
Listening that much. But it can get really deep, really intense, and the directions that people choose to go can blow my mind, especially when they're a stranger to me.
Yeah.
But like if you give somebody your full attention,
Yeah.
People will just pour out.
It's true.
So, though this survey, people answer wildly differently.
I bet.
And one thing that blows my mind is just how much disagreement there is on what truth means or how to get to it.
Yeah.
Because they all have different methods of arriving at truths. And I think this is why people are concluding in wildly different things that cause conflicts. So if we could find a way to broach how we got there, then we might be able to either change minds or change our own mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, my belief is the best way to instill doubt in a belief that might be false is to learn how they know it's true.
Do you think we do a good job of that historically in this country?
Societally, it's dreadful.
It's dreadful.
It's dreadful,
Dreadful.
societally.
Wholeheartedly.
And so, yeah, that's why we do this. And I
love
really
it.
appreciate it. And I'm going to take a photo of this before you head out.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're free to go.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
I really appreciate that. That was
it.
awesome.
Hey,
Thanks
it's
for
a
stopping
pleasure.
by.
It was fun.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Super, super fun. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think over the next, gosh, what, 6 months, year, as we come into this election, I think it's gonna, people's truths are gonna start to come to the surface.
Yeah, right.
But I feel more, I will say.
That is if they agree to 19. They might disagree.
Yeah.
Investigating beliefs that don't match theirs.
Yeah, a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean,
Kinda
I
need that first to start.
I think, just in this past week, it feels, I was just saying to Anthony on the walk up here, it feels more energized now than it probably has been in some time. And I just wonder how people's truths get associated with hate. That's always been a big
We
question
were just
for
talking
me.
about that. So look at the top of the page there.
Yeah.
There's the what, why
Yeah.
method. So underneath that, there's actually a deeper layer on the pyramid that I should probably put on there, but it's who we are as people. And oftentimes we get so ingrained in our ideologies on a whole body of belief systems that we will begin thinking, oh, people who believe in X, those are good people. And people who believe in not X, they're not good people.
Yeah.
And that's when tribalism starts. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
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 It's like, in my mind, and this is one of my beliefs, and it's a very uncommon belief, I don't think people choose their beliefs.
No.
They are compelled by reasons to be saying what they're saying.
From their
Or
environment.
no reasons, but either way, they're both out of their hands. It's either no reasons, or they're motivated,
Hey.
or they have reasons. And
Yeah.
either way, it's not their choice. They are almost like a victim of circumstance.
Oh, they certainly are.
right? And now they're compelled. So they're at a level of confidence. So if somebody believes in something I think is abhorrent or vile
Yeah.
or wicked, then I'm not
Right.
going to think that they're evil or
Right.
hate them because they are holding a belief that happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd much rather walk through that idea with them.
And it's wild to see, as a young girl in the South, we were driven to the church consistently.
Right?
But there was a moment where it was like, these two ideas don't connect. And I remember that moment distinctly
Yeah.
when I dated a preacher's son.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was about the time that he started using the ministry's funds to purchase, multiple shots at the bar, that I was like, tithing doesn't seem correct here.
Right.
I'm giving all this money, air quotes, to the church to like go out and
Buy shots!
feed the hungry and build houses, but instead we're
Yeah.
getting 8 balls and doing shots. Like, what is
Ooh.
happening? I think
Party
it was
in
that
church.
moment. Yeah, party in
What
church.
church is this?
Yeah.
A lot of them, I think.
And sadly, I think it was. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys are big TV fans, but if you ever watch The Righteous Gemstones, I feel like it's actually one of the most accurate depictions of the Southern megachurch.
It's on my like list.
Oh my gosh, you
Have I
should.
seen that yet?
It's
If
a
I haven't,
great
that's a-
comedy,
yeah.
super raunchy, very good.
I will watch that soon.
But I always am curious, to your point, of how people, I think beliefs are indeed ingrained. But like for myself, I haven't ever been back to the church since and have no desire to.
Well, this whole method and movement, and there's like, it's a very diverse group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So street epistemology is not only a verb, it's also a noun. Like there's a group of people that do it. And it largely started in response to like evangelical movements in America and like
Sure.
religions overall. Kind of started with a couple of books.
Yeah.
And then it grew into like a YouTube channel that kind of blew up, and then other YouTube channels started propping up. And we all
Yeah.
kind of do it a little different, but there's all this, it's generally truth focused
Love that.
and methods focused. And
Yeah.
I think it's just really the way we got to
It's really fascinating.
talk to each other. Yeah, and look it up. There's all this info
I will.
on it. And you
Yeah.
can maybe learn it and apply it. And there's video examples on my channel. And yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for stopping,
I'm
y'all.
excited. Thank you.
was
Thank
super
you.
cool.
Thank you. Good luck today.
Indeed.
Hopefully, you guys get a few more
Yeah.
takers to come sit down. It's a pleasure.
Thanks again.